Jason Fraser.
This is Matt O'Brien.
Hey, this is Ray Zwicker.
All right, world. My name is Cal Post.
Guys, this is Christina Walkinshaw.
This is Eddie Deliseppi.
This is Adrian Spencer.
My name is Timo.
And you're listening to the Julien Dionne.
You're listening to the Julien Dionne Comedy Hour podcast.
Who am I talking to? What am I doing?
Julien Dionne Comedy Hour.
You're listening to the...
Comedy Hour. See, I took the word out comedy. Changes the meaning completely, doesn't it?
Dazing. Not really, I'm overworking, but dazing. The holidays. Happy holidays. You're listening to the Julien Dionne Comedy Hour podcast.
And aren't we all?
Now broadcasting live and totally uncensored, from Lemon Press Studio in the beautiful Gatineau Hills.
Project. I was like half asleep on the couch and now I'm projecting.
Hey everyone, this is Christian Potenza.
This is Gay Trevor Wilson.
This is Jean Paul, a.k.a. the Island Hipster, hashtag hipster business.
This is Steph Tola.
Hey, this is Jake Goldsby.
This is Sky Wallace.
Hey everybody, this is Erica Sigurdsson, aka Ricky Siggs.
Okay, hello. Hi.
This is Howard Wagman.
Hey, this is Peter Anthony, the PA system.
This is Matt O'Brien.
Some people like that's my rap name.
This is Jen Grant and you're listening to the Julien Dionne Comedy Hour podcast.
Show. You and me belong, just like the flowers, laughing all day long. People, I need you loose. Sing a little song, then take a shower. Julien Dionne. It's a show. It's not an hour, it's a show. It's okay.
A beautiful waste of time.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. We're live. I like that. The double gun.
Thank you.
The double gun. Hey, how are ya? Welcome to the Julien Dionne Show with Jen Grant. Live on a Monday morning. Yeah. Thank you so much. Broadcasting to you live from deep inside the New Brunswick bush. Quarantine, day number 6 of a 14-day self-isolation. Good morning. Yeah. Jen Grant again, day 2 on Camara. Look at you.
That's right.
As my brother Mike would say, diluting the ugly factor, as it were. Finally. Finally. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter Live, Periscope, or Twitch. Twitch. What'd you call them the other day? Twitchy Poos?
Something like that.
And where else? Daily Motion
Poos.
Daily Motion Poos. And then, of course, available wherever you get your podcasts. All right? Good morning. We're happy to be here.
Yes.
We're in self-isolation.
Yep.
Today we have a very special guest, friend of the show, friend of ours in real life, a hilarious comedian, Matt Carter. Sigida will be joining us in about a half hour-ish. He's promoting his new album, Northbound Baby. Very funny album. Very funny, from a very funny comedian. Go check that. Again, this board is so unnaturally placed. I'm like, ha. My arm is sore. His album, Northbound Baby, available wherever you get your music. Stream your music. Spotify, Apple Music. Better yet, go to the Apple Store or iTunes Store and buy it. Support comedy. We talked about this before. The streaming services, you get not even pennies on the stream. You get fractions of a penny for the streams. But here, let's play a little bit of his album.
Yeah.
Let's play.
He's really funny.
He's a very funny comedian here.
And a nice person.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. I don't have my glasses on, so I don't see very well.
Why don't you throw them on for times like this?
In times like these, I wish I had my glasses. No? Anyway, we are in full lockdown here, quarantine. I was talking to a buddy of mine on Facebook Messenger yesterday. He's like, yeah, but you can go grocery shop and stuff. I'm like, no, that's the point of quarantining.
Really, eh? That's why we're probably in trouble.
He's like, yeah, but you can, he's like, you don't leave the house, but you can go get groceries. I'm like, no, what's the point of getting groceries, quarantining, if you can go So we're having groceries delivered. My parents have been great.
Yeah,
and,
so nice.
And so it was my mom's birthday Saturday.
Yeah.
Once again, happy birthday, Mom. Love you.
Again,
I said it on Friday, but...
Again, I'm realizing how high maintenance I am with groceries.
Yeah.
When you have to get other people to get it, I'm like, can I have...
Sorry. It's just, these mics, they're very weird. You have to, like, have them in your throat.
Be right on there, okay.
Yeah.
So
otherwise, it's really low. Because remember on
it.
Friday, someone commented they couldn't hear you very well.
That's true, and I noticed it as well. So,
but it's on the board. It's like maxed out.
Okay.
There. Yeah, there you sound
I feel like I'm right on it right now.
Yeah,
Okay,
now it's
all right.
perfect. And last week too, on Friday during the Daily Dose, when we had a picture up, I was like, and you're like, well, they see you. I was like, no. but then you adjust it, and it was like big time difference. It also makes it
more professional.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, sorry. Say that again.
More professional? Thank you. What do I win?
That's not what I was going for, but
What do
I
I win?
lost kind of my train of thought mid-sentence. You win 8 more days of self-isolation with me.
I thought, isn't there one that... Yeah, that's the one I was looking for.
Yeah, what do you mean? It should have been this.
I'm just joking.
Or, hold on, the applause is too long.
Or...
Or...
That's the one I was thinking
I was trying to read your mind.
What about one that's like... anyway, let's move on.
By the way, I love having you on camera. Now, so when we go back to the regular studio, it'll just be on me on camera for until we finish the studio downstairs. Not for long. That'll put a fire under my arse to finish the studio downstairs, which we've been working on.
Yep.
It's getting there. And I can't wait to have you on camera full time.
Yeah, and then we'll
This is
have our
fun.
own individual shots.
And it's like all of a sudden people were getting messages like, "Oh my God, this is amazing! You guys are going to be huge." I'm like, what happened? What about the last 11 months, 10 months of?
You're nothing without me.
Well, that I know. That when you're right, you're right. I tell you that all the time. But I feel like it's the same show. I mean, it's way better with you on, but.
I always felt a little weird not being on. Like I thought. But then I also remember that most of them are listeners. Like,
Yeah, audio, so they don't.
The live is just like if you think about Howard Stern, for instance, and we talk a lot about him just because it's, he's a radio show and it's easy to kind of, as an example of one that's hugely successful, they have a listenership, and then as an added bonus, go and check out the
Right.
video. Like most people are listening to it. So, that's okay. It's an added bonus for people who like watching. This is really great to just have an
It
extra
is.
visual.
And we fixed the lighting too, so it's a little bit better. It's not as dark.
She was like a real doctor. She knew the stuff. She was like, oh my God, I know exactly what that is. It's like a whatever. Here's what you do. You don't even have to go to like a hospital or another doctor person. Just go to the pharmacy. Just go down to Shoppers, right? Don't see the teenage guy with the golf shirt at the front, right? Go to the back. Find the old angry dude. Find the old angry guy with the white coat. Find that guy. Now tell him you need a tube of Canestin, okay? I should have Googled. Oh boy, I should have Googled. I should have binged. I should have done all this stuff.
Binged.
Binged.
I was not aware. I did not know that Canestin is not typically used as an arm cream. Apparently, you can do so much yoga that you will grow a vagina on your arm. It's not a manly activity. You gotta throw in some deadlifts or something.
That's Matt Carter right there. We'll have with us live shortly. That's a quick. I hate I don't hate previewing bits on the show. It's doesn't do it justice because all the bits are like 3-4 minutes long. So I had to take like a clip of a bit. So it's like a part of a bit out of context. Very funny.
I have to say, it sounds really good technically.
Yeah.
Eh?
Well, he's a professional comedian.
Because not all comedians have
That's
good,
true.
You know.
Some people will just throw an iPhone in the back of the room and then pass that as their album.
I'll tell you, though, they won't get much airplay.
That's true. So, anyhoozle, you were saying, by the way, I have here, my habits have changed drastically. So this is day 58 sobriety.
How do you feel?
No coffee, no sugar, no anything. And so this morning I'm having kombucha and greens. How times have changed. So I've got the greens, I've got the kombucha.
You must feel good.
So you were saying you feel, I feel amazing. Although like I said, I get these grouchy spells.
Less though now.
Yeah, less. It's all related to sleep and exercise. I've been going on cross-country ski runs.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go yesterday, and I felt grouchy because of it. I don't know. I just need to...
You didn't go yesterday?
No.
Oh, I thought you did go yesterday.
No, I didn't. I was going to go, but...
Oh, that's right. You know what? Being isolated,
I know all
you
the days.
mix up your days. I don't even know what day it is. Like
We're Monday.
Because when we first started isolating, I was like gonna keep track of it in my day planner.
Yeah.
You know, like kind of like what prisoners do on a calendar.
Yeah.
Scratch out the dates every single time you go through a day, like an advent calendar for isolation. Don't get ready.
Move along, inmate. You said like prisoners.
Yeah, I know, but I could see you getting ready. That's
that's always my technique, though, and you just couldn't see me before because we were in separate rooms. But
This was you. I look over, you're like this, half listening, but like getting ready with your thumb on the
fully
right
listening.
button.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So, I didn't go cross country ski, and I love it in the woods. It's unbelievable. I'm at peace. And I never want to leave again. I'm telling you, with Starlink Internet, Elon Musk's company, I applied for it here. The goal is just to build a shack in the woods, and then we could do this and Zoom comedy shows from the woods.
I wonder when that's going to happen.
And I think within the year. A lot of people have had it, like they're beta testing it, and it's great. The speeds are tremendous.
So the feedback's amazing.
Tremendous. Yeah, great feedback.
Oh, please don't say that word.
Hey, we know who ruined that word.
Yes.
So you were saying
I would have done a.
I've been we're day 6. You've been saying you're high maintenance grocery shopping, but my mom is doing it all, every last detail. Now you're like me with my screen time. So my goal with my screen time is one of my resolutions. If you listen to the show, is to go get it around an hour and a half a day, which is really, really low. So far, my average is about 2 hours and 20 minutes. It does the average. And
that's good.
It's really hard to do an hour and a half, but that's still my goal. I'm working towards it. But sometimes I'll grab your phone to Google things, because I turn off my phone and stuff. But you're doing that for the groceries. You're like, I've asked for so much. Could you ask for a dog bed? Get your mom to pick up a dog bed or other things. But anyway.
Yeah.
So, but we've been isolating here.
Well, she'd do anything for you.
Yeah, she's great for us.
Yeah, she'd do anything for me too. But you're,
What?
You get special treatment.
Well,
the prodigal son.
I'm looking for a button on the machine,
and you have
there's
no glasses
nothing.
on.
Well, no, I can see this close up. It's like the computer screen sometimes. But yeah, so anyway, our schedule in quarantine here basically consists of having my mom and dad deliver things on the porch, and we see them through the door. Don't panic, everybody. You posted a picture on Facebook because it was my mom's birthday, and then had to add a note because people are obnoxious on the internet. When did you take that picture?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you know what that inspired me to do?
Put a note. Oh, yes, you deleted your Facebook app and Messenger app.
It's so easy to just in a down moment to just grab your phone and check notifications.
I hate the scrolling. That's what
know.
I noticed, like, sometimes my screen time will go way over my hour and a half. Like, I'll be in the 2 and a half hour thing. But I'm FaceTiming with friends, and that doesn't. I mean, it counts, but really, what I'm trying to eliminate is the mindless, endless scrolling that just festers so much cynicism within my loins.
Yeah.
Every time. Never do I scroll and feel better after I'm out.
No.
I scroll. It's just the internet is a bunch of know-it-alls that are all obsessed with being right.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm repeating myself here on the show that
No, but
I
you're right.
always do, but it's just it drives me nuts. And by the way, if you're one of these people that always has to be right, newsflash, it's very unbecoming.
Yeah.
And I noticed this in my life. There's people I like in person, but I can't stand them online.
And it's. Do you think that the people that are doing that all the time are aware of what they're doing? No.
No, they're not, of course. They just have this incessant need to be right all the time. I gotta correct this person. Assuming they're always right. Like, it's like, I should correct these. It's Steve Love, a comedian, impressionist and comic out of Ottawa.
Yeah.
Funny guy.
Yeah,
We've had
nice
on the Sunday Funnies show. He said one time he used to do this little thing when the lockdown first happened in the mornings. He said, to be successful in show business, I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, need to be good in 3 areas: good in person, good on social media, and good on stage. Because it's hard. Like, some people are great in person, you love them, can't stand them online. They're funny on stage, or they're not good on stage. They're great online. Anyway, so, but I've thought about that since he said that, and it really made sense. And for civilians that don't have that third, like, be good on stage. Some people are great in person, you love them, and just online, they're just anyway.
It makes me concerned. I'm glad that we're not naming any names because this person or people that we're talking about.
I'm not even talking about
one person.
I'm not even talking about anybody specific.
Right.
In general.
Oh, well, you know what? I'm guilty of thinking of someone. When you're saying that, I'm thinking of someone.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not.
Well, I think we're all, when you hear a story like that, like I think of a few people.
Yeah, you can picture someone in your head,
Yeah.
but I'm in generalizing.
But can I
there's
ask
no
you something?
not one. Yes.
You know how they say that saying, and I'm just talking. I'm not judging. I'm just talking about this concept. So no letters. But a drunk man's words are a sober man's thoughts. Do you think that people who act that way when they feel that they have no repercussions is really how they actually are and want to be in front of people, but because they're right in front of someone, they don't do it because they know that it's socially unacceptable or it could cause somebody to be mad at them?
A person's social media posts is a
or comments,
real life
activity.
person's.
No, a social
thought.
media person's activity is a
civilian's
Yeah.
thoughts.
Yeah.
Civilian. You know what I mean? A non-online
Yes.
real life person.
Like, is that the way they really are? I think so. Or it's at least a part of them that, like, normally they wouldn't.
What was that?
I don't know.
Oh, your phone maybe?
Whoopsie. I thought it was your sound machine.
Yes, I know. It sounded like.
It sounds like a harmony of that.
Yeah.
No. Anyway.
I'll try to time it with your next message. No. Yeah.
And do you agree with a drunk man's words are a sober man's thoughts?
Not necessarily. You can say stuff that you don't mean when you're drunk. It's not.
You don't think so? You think so? I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, you can be mad.
But don't you think
you
there's
can be angry.
ugly sides of all of us? Like, don't
yeah,
you think
yeah, but it
there's-
doesn't necessarily represent. Like, if you're drunk and you get, if you're like a person that gets angry drunk, and you might say something to hurt someone that's not true. You don't actually feel when you're sober, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
No, but it's a good saying. I do.
You know what I think it is?
Go ahead.
When it comes to the drunk thing, my opinion is that when you get drunk, you are acting like that part of you that has learned how to be mature and how to talk to people and how to be more together. Like, say you've tried to get your shit together, then that's how you would act if you were sober because you're working with your conscious mind.
Right.
When you drink, I feel like the wall comes down and you're operating more from a subconscious mind. Hi, I'm Jen Grant.
Hi, I'm social media expert and sociologist.
No, but I've thought about this before because, you know, why do people like drinking so much and drugs?
Yeah.
It's because they want to break from their conscious mind of thinking and planning and worry. Like everybody's got different anxiety, whatever. It takes the edge off.
And social media is a form of drug.
Yes, it is.
It breaks out people's
100%.
insecurities and yeah. It's okay to be wrong or not even be wrong, even if you're right. It's okay to not correct every post and thing you see on the internet. Let stuff slide. It doesn't matter. And again, we're beating a dead horse because we've covered this on the show before, but you're not going to change anybody's mind on the internet, especially because it's a performance. A comment section has an audience. So if you're like, by the way, unless you privately message them, then you might be able to persuade them and have a conversation. But if you're posting on comments, it's like a performance. It's like you're going up on stage with someone. Someone is on stage saying something, and you go up on stage next to them. You go, "You're wrong, by the way, and this is why." They're not going to agree with you in front of the audience. They're going to plant their feet firmer, even if you have good and make good points. So it's just let it go. You're going to give yourself an ulcer. It's really...
I feel like when I was younger, like 20 years old, I used to be like that. I used to be like, "You're wrong. This is my opinion, and I need everybody to hear it."
Yeah.
People act immature on social media, I think.
They do. Anyway, so you're off Facebook, well, the app and the messenger. You have to go on your computer.
I already went to grab and look at notifications 2 or 3 times since I deleted the app, which was only 3 hours ago.
Well, since we've been here,
I'll be honest,
we've been watching stuff. Let's be honest, since the pandemic or especially the second wave, we're home a lot, and we've been watching a lot of stuff. We talk about it on the show. It's great fun. And since reducing my screen time, I've noticed the urge to, while I'm watching something that I love and I'm interested in, I want to grab my phone and look at stuff. Like, it's not enough.
Weird, eh? I know.
The millions of dollars these people have put into this thing to entertain me, that's not enough. I'm like, oh, let me scroll. But I don't because of my screen time. But I'm noticing now that I don't always go and give in. How many times while I'm watching something that I'm fascinated, interested in, I have this urge to just scroll while I just check. It's like, this isn't enough, one thing.
I know.
So my phone screen time has gone down, but my Netflix watching has gone up. We've been watching Yellowstone on Prime with Kevin Costner. Fantastic show.
It's really good.
Really good show. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's about ranch owners in Montana. And it's good. But it's one of those shows. This is why I like Downton Abbey so much. It's one of those shows, Yellowstone, that it just does not let up. One thing after the other as far as like drama or... What's your favorite type of movie? Action, adventure? No, what is it? Is your favorite type of movie?
Well, I like suspense.
Suspense. That's what I'm. Nonstop, like one thing after the other of like.
And it's upsetting.
Yeah.
It keeps you like all the time.
One thing that takes me out of that show though is, there's a lot of fist fights, is the sound effect for punching. If you watch Yellowstone, if you get into it, do it. It's a great show. Kevin Costner is such a great actor, and the cast is really good. But every time they have a fight, it's like cartoony. And notice this now, if you do watch it, every time it's like it doesn't even make sense. It's even more cartoony than that, and that kind of takes me out of it. But
how would we ever find, like, I mean, I don't see people punching people in real life. So
but in real life, it just
what does it sound like?
Like that kind of. But I mean, that's not
but
dramatic
it's not,
enough.
Yeah, it's not exciting enough.
It sounds like, I don't know. I saw one time the Foley artist, how they do that. They use like a bamboo stick on like lettuce and stuff to get that sound.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and it's
weird.
But it's so cartoony in that show, and they punch each other in the mouths. Another show I'm obsessed with that I just discovered is Catfish.
Oh boy.
on MTV. You know my love of garbage TV. This is not so much garbage. You get some.
Is it all legit?
It's all legit, and it's on MTV. It's like 10 seasons. They have 8 or 9 seasons of it. I just discovered it was going on Crave, so we're here at the cottage, and so we've got all these streaming services. Oh, we didn't watch WandaVision.
Oh yeah,
we should watch it after this.
Okay.
And so, there's Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, and Crave, and I'm like, well, I want to watch something, and I didn't. You were in bed early, so I just go on like the what's new on Crave, and it was new episodes of Catfish. Very self-explanatory. They just find catfish is. It's like, especially this season. I'm only watching the latest season, which is the 8th or 9th season. It's like someone will message the show about someone in their life that they strongly believe is being catfished, and then they investigate. And it's always like, how could you not see? Like, some people fall for. It's crazy what they fall for. I mean, this one woman has been communicating with this guy for 6 years. She flew down to South Carolina, not once, not twice, but 3 times to meet him. And every time she'd go down, he would just ghost her, not answer any of the phone calls or texts.
Sad.
It's very sad. And they put so much emotion. It's often people that are desperate. But sometimes it's like, how could you believe this? I don't know. It's and also the investigation that you do.
I guess.
Yeah, I guess. But like, this one was like a 20-year-old kid, and I feel for the guy. This guy must have been, no joke, 700 pounds, and he's been messaging this model for 2 years that he's literally like in love with, actually. And it's very sad. He's crying and stuff when he finds out it's not the real person. It's heart-wrenching. I actually cried at one of the episodes.
Aww.
2. That one was close. His name was Jesus. Sweet kid. This 20-year-old kid that's been bullied his whole life. He's literally like, he's.
Does he say how much he weighs?
No, but I have never seen anybody this large that can move, and it's not body shaming or anything. This is just a fact. Like,
his physical condition.
Yeah, it's alarming. And he's been chatting with literally like a girl that looks like a model on the internet. I mean, shouldn't that be like a sign right there? Am I being too vain or shallow?
No.
To think that would never happen?
No.
And
I'm not saying it's not possible to fall in love with someone who looks physically dramatically different from you.
No, but
well, I mean, I've known people that date online, and until you actually meet the person, like, so often I've known this one particular person, I'm not going to say who it was, but dated and spoke to someone online, a number of people, and they really bond until you actually meet them.
Yeah.
So there's even that factor, even if it's true. I mean, quote unquote true. Like, a lot of times they use pictures that don't look like them now. They'll act on their best behavior, but there's something about energy. But even aside from that, this is completely fake. So how was this person posing as the model benefiting from it?
I don't know.
Money?
Found out one of her friends wrote to the show. She was like the whistleblower. She said, I know he's being catfished, and this is why. Turned out she was like a professional. This is what she did. She communicated with people in prison and whatever, and just got like money from everybody. This was her.
So had she gotten any money from this guy yet?
He had just sent her like money for gas, and money
Seems like
for
a lot of work.
Money for gas and money for to clean her daughter's headstone. She said that her daughter had died.
Oh my God, that's next level.
And that's why her friend had a falling out for her, because she was using her friend's daughter's picture as her daughter that had died, but her friend's daughter was very much alive when her friend found this out.
Oh my God.
They had a falling out, so she messaged the show. She said, this guy's getting catfished by my friend. They met the friend, and they went to meet this girl.
Oh my God.
And this girl had such an attitude. And this poor guy, Jesus, he's crying because he's like, he actually was like wanted to move in with this model. So he had this fantasy in his life that for him was real. And then Yeah. So anyway, but every time so the way the show works is someone emails the show, they look into it, then they reach out to the person that is suspected to be getting catfished, and then they try to find out who the catfish is. The investigation they do is so easy. I mean, this guy could have figured out very easily that it wasn't her. You know, they do a reverse image search. They search the number. They do a couple things. It's like bing, bing, bing. These few things. Bong,
Bing,
bong,
bing,
bing, bing, bong. And then
Was it tremendous, though?
It was tremendously tremendous. Anyway, but I'm hooked. I can't stop watching Catfish. I watched one about, and there's some that are legit. They meet up and it's like, oh. Like, actually, the guy that this woman went to South Carolina 3 times and he ghosted her, turned out he was the real guy. And he had just, when they finally met, he had just lied about his lifestyle, pretending he had a lot more money than he did, but he was just poor kid from South Carolina, so he would panic every time she would come down. Anyway, it's an MTV show, so it's produced, it's very, like, bubbly. It's all based out of LA, so they fly people in and out, so it's all, like, sunshine. I don't know. It reminds me, I get the same feeling from when I watched Laguna Beach back in the day. I loved that show.
You're such a dichotomy. You're like
There's, like, bright colors and, I don't know.
No, but you're
simple.
you're like a deep person, but you're also very you've got really terrible taste in television sometimes.
Well, I love it when it's not. I mean, what's garbage TV? I mean, I don't feel the intense kind of like when I watch Yellowstone. That's considered like a critically acclaimed great show, but I feel like anxious when I watch it.
Right.
This stuff, what's wrong with it? I'm like, oh wow, LA's nice. Oh, I don't know. It's just good feelings.
LA.
Same as when I watched Laguna Beach, good feelings.
Well,
or Love is Blind, amazing feelings.
Those kind of shows sort of give you some closure at the end, so I know that they feel good too to watch those.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like there's a problem in the beginning. That's a classic formula for a lot of successful TV shows. There's a problem. You're trying to figure out what it is.
Can I turn on the heat?
Down?
Yeah, it's hot.
Oh, it's so weird. I'm cold, but
Oh,
yeah,
no,
go ahead.
go ahead.
No, it's fine.
Okay, there's a problem.
There's a problem. You try to figure it out. It's kind of like Law and Order. You see a crime. The viewer tries to figure it out while you're watching the whole story unfold.
Yeah.
And then, wait, I think I had the sweet spot there. No?
Well, your levels are just a little low.
Oh. And, yeah. And then when you get the answer at the end, it makes you feel complete.
Yeah.
So anyway. I remember I talked to a TV writer, and he said that's a classic kind of template or whatever.
And again, we've talked about this on the show, how Hollywood has ingrained this in our psyche that every time something good happens, you're like, oh, something's going to go bad, because it's always in every movie except my favorite
Downton
show.
Abbey.
It's the best show.
It is.
Yes, there's scandal, but it's feel good. You get relief from the scandals.
Yeah, like the worst scandal is not even that bad by Yellowstone standards.
Very true.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking. I said,
oh, watch it. Watch it.
In the States, the Powerball was won. Do you know how much money?
How much?
$731 million.
What the heck?
I know. Well,
By
you lose half of that to taxes. So 330 million, one person, one ticket.
Oh, and I'd love to know what this person's story.
They haven't yet come forward. At least I didn't check on any updates of the show. I think it was like in the Detroit area. It was sold at this convenience store. It's one ticket, all 6 matching numbers, $731 million. And that's not it. The Mega Millions is $970 million, almost $1 billion.
What the heck?
What would you do if you won $970 million?
Well,
or $450 million, because you would lose half to taxes. I love when people say that. Even if it's $30 million, yeah, but half goes to the government. Not in Canada, by the way. You would get the entire $970 million.
I feel like I would feel a great responsibility to do something very positive
You'd
and
have to
meaningful
move.
with that.
We'd have to move in a bunker underground somewhere.
No.
You know how much
Just
you would
give
get
away a lot.
hounded for money?
We just give away a lot.
Yeah, but hundreds of people, all your entire family, everybody, you just be like, just give me 1 million. What's 1 million?
Oh, I know. And then
Everybody
you know
would-
what you'd have to say? Sorry, all my money's tied up in Google.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just bought some Bitcoin for 960 million. You'd still have 10 million. That's crazy.
Yeah, but I would give everyone I know.
Of course.
a lot
I'm not
of
saying
money.
not to. No, but
Everyone
but,
I know. Well, that would get a bit.
But it wouldn't just be family. It would be, because honestly, especially where we live, it's 1,000 people live in the village. They'd be like, just give me something. Like everybody would come to you. Because you could solve so many people's entire problem, like all of their problems,
it's
just
true.
by going here and not even notice the difference. So imagine how many people would line up.
Yeah.
They say like something crazy, like 90% of lottery winners have to move and start fresh. I wish. Why is it a
do
rule that they have to
I
announce it?
know.
Well, we were going to say that at the same
Yeah,
time.
why do they have to do or ding?
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't a
But yeah, why do they have to say
It's
who it is?
got to be some sort of rule or something. But yeah, I would change my name and start fresh somewhere. I don't know. It would be, or I'd move here in the woods, underground. I would build the most elaborate underground mansion. It would just look like a field from up top. But whoops, the phone's ringing. Oh well. And
sounds like we're in a real office.
I know. And so, but man, oh man, imagine how many people would, even people you didn't know, would be like, hey, this is my story. I just need $30,000 and it would solve all of my problems, or $101,000 would help everything. And those are amounts you wouldn't even notice.
Mm-hmm.
It would be crazy.
I was listening to an interview with Oprah was interviewing Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
And they were commiserating about how they've given lots of money to their family, and their family some of their family members have still screwed them over. Imagine
Oh,
you
yeah.
like give lots of money to some people, and then they still sell these quote unquote secrets about you when they're not actually real secrets. Like, it's shitty to do that no matter what, but they're making stuff up just to be able to sell. Sad.
Tremendous. Sad.
I feel like I know a few, like a small enough amount of people that if it was, I don't know, let's say after taxes, or even if it was like $50 million, I feel like I could give everyone I know, like really know, a good chunk of money. And then how could they ever be jerks after that? And if they were, then actually it's kind of a good filtering process of realizing who you want in your life.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, well,
like
sometimes...
if you bug me after I give you $500,000 for doing zero things, just being my friend or my loved one, and you're still hounding me.
Yeah, well, people feel entitled.
Yeah.
It's like you start giving, and you know the saying: you give an inch, you take a mile. Speaking of billions and billionaires, I saw that Elon Musk is offering $100 million for the best carbon capture technology, which he's being like hailed as, oh my God, this is amazing, as if he's the one that invented it. And it reminded me of the Bill Burr bit about Steve Jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you ever heard him talk about that.
No.
He's like, yeah, people call him a genius and stuff, but he just told like smart scientists and stuff like what to do. Like,
oh, really?
I want all of my music in that phone. Yeah, pretty much. And
he's a visionary.
Yeah, of course. But like Elon Musk, this thing is great, but it reminded me of that. It's like, yeah, but he's not the one inventing it. Like, he knows nothing about this. He's just offering $100 million, but yet he's like the hero. Oof, that comes across cynical when I say it out loud. Like, I wrote it down and it made sense to me.
No, I don't think that's cynical.
Because Bill Burr has a bit about Steve Jobs. I don't know if it's an actual
you know
bit in his
what?
act, but he did it on Conan, where like on panel. And he's like, everybody was like, when he announced a new iPhone or something, He should have been like him with a full team of scientists behind him, like we developed this thing. But instead, he would come out alone and be like, some sort of genius. And that just reminded me of this. It's like,
I mean, that's a point. That's a good point. It's kind of like when you're a front man of a band and you take all the glory.
Yeah.
But then there's other frontmen that are amazing and like selfless and like Eddie Vedder.
Yeah. But so it reminded, because people were like, "Oh my God, Elon Musk changing the world." I mean, yeah, but it's really the person that he's gonna give that money to that's actually gonna invent the thing that's gonna be the hero. And we probably won't even hear much of that person when it does happen, or if it happens. Whoever comes up with the best carbon capture technology, Elon will give $100 million to, and he'll be like the headline. I'm assuming. Yeah. What do you say we try to get our good friend Matt Carter on the phone?
I think that's a fantastic idea.
Let me see if he's ready, first and foremost. It's
Okay.
early there in Ottawa.
Mm-hmm.
It's an hour earlier. Let me...
But he's used to talking to us at this
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just call him now, because I said around the half-hour mark, and it's perfect.
Around that time?
Yeah, so let's see. Let's see if we can get him on the phone.
Love it.
That's one thing too. The internet here is pretty bad, so hopefully
It works?
yeah. Let me see if we can.
It's ringing. I can
yeah,
hear that.
it's ringing. It's ringing. It's ringing, and I believe we are live with friend of the show and our friend Matt Carter.
Beautiful waste of time. How you guys doing?
Hey, buddy. By the way, just want to quickly just tell you that we're in the woods right now, quarantining. We're in New Brunswick, and our internet is pretty shoddy. So if we lose you or anything, I'll call you back. But so far, it sounds great. You sound great. You're great. It's all great.
Thanks. Yeah, I haven't spoken a word today. I was trying to stay. You know what I mean? I didn't say good morning to my wife. I didn't say hello to my son. I'm saving my voice.
Perfect.
For just this.
We feel very special.
Have you ever done that on
Well,
the
you
road?
should.
Where you're on the road and you're in a hotel all day, and like the first words out loud you say is like to the waitress at the club or something like that.
Sure, that's the touchstone of working with a comedian you hate right there, Julien.
Totally. Erica Sigurdsson, very funny comic and good friend. She has this joke. I don't know if she actually ever fully developed the joke, but I always think about it because she's like, today I was at Starbucks and I can tell I've been on the road a long time because I couldn't stop talking to the barista. Like it was uncomfortable. Like she's like, so how are you doing? Like it was like way too much. Like she was trying to be friends with her and she's like, okay, I guess I need to like have some, it gets weird a long time on the road.
So Matt, you've been on the show before. We love you. Obviously, you're now promoting a new album, Northbound Baby. We played a short clip off the top of the show. And speaking of which, you are on paternity leave right now. How is that going? How's life?
Correct. I have just completed my 3rd week of paternity leave. It's been great, man. My son is good. I was touch and go for a little while, but we're really getting it. We're doing it. It's funny because everyone I talk to about the idea of transitioning into a paternity leave, being like the primary caregiver because my wife is gone back to work.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, when you say gone back to work, you mean up in the attic, right?
Up in the attic. That's
her
right.
office.
She's up in the attic. We're up in the little crawl space. She has a whole office up there. But I was talking to I have a therapist or whatever. I talked to a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to know why. But anyway, so, but I was telling him, I was like, I'm going on paternity leave. And he's like, oh, it's going to be great. But he's like, it's going to be so boring. And it's like one of those things where people are preparing you for the idea of like, you haven't spent, 8 hours with a 1-year-old. If it's, because especially in January during a pandemic, it's not the most social time of my life. It's just...
we were just saying that. starts to feel so weird. Yeah.
Do you?
It's very.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So how's it going? Like after
it's great. You kind of find your routine, and but you find ways to sort of to be social somehow. You know what I mean? Like I was reading. I started reading I subscribed to this magazine, this called Jacobin for news. It's very lefty, and I realized that I can, if I read it out loud in like a kid voice, you know what I mean?
That's hilarious.
It's something for the both of us.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Oh my gosh, because it really he doesn't understand a lot of the. Yeah, he's so young that you could be saying anything. It's like dogs when you get excited, like you could be saying the worst thing to them, right?
Just do the voice.
It's just the cadence. What now with your wife Emily actually upstairs working? Do you have any urge ever to be like, hey, can you come down here for a minute and I'll like tag her in?
So the thing that my kid is now climbing stairs. He's a real athlete. So
very advanced.
He's very. I don't actually know because I can't compare him to any other kids because he doesn't know any. You know what I mean? He could be 2 steps from a jellyfish and I wouldn't even know. You know what I mean? Someone should be like, "Hey, this kid, you should raise the bar a little." Have you thought of introducing colors, mate? Anyway, so we. So he started climbing the stairs, but now there's 2 sets of stairs. One to get from our main floor up to our second floor, which is where the bedrooms are. And then the 3rd floor is where my wife's office is. So he goes up that first set of stairs, and then, man, he realizes, he's like, if I'm not quick enough, this guy's going to put me to sleep. So he beelines it for that second set of stairs because he just wants to get up there. Yeah. And so I usually give my wife like a little warning yell, just be like, hey, and she's like, it's cool. So, and she appreciates the visit too, because it's got to be tough, you know. You go from spending time with them all day, and then you have to go and be an adult again.
And when you say he thinks you're going to put him to sleep, we should clarify in no way this means it's sleeper hole.
It's a wrestling. It's a sleeper. It's
and it's ideal because he can't really tap out with those little arms, so you can really get him.
Arms. I'm like a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt of dads. You know what I mean? I'm undefeated.
Yeah.
He's very flexible.
Against adults, not so much, but babies, you got this. That should be your next album, by the way, Jellyfish Baby.
Jellyfish Baby.
That should be the next album. So tell us about the album. When did you record it? Obviously, it was in a pre-pandemic world.
Pre-pandemic world. So what happened was I recorded this thing in the end of 2019.
Right.
End of 2019. And so by the time it was all mastered and ready to go, I'd started kicking around plans of launching like a mini comedy tour, and even just the idea of like throwing together like a bunch of shows where I get to perform with my favorite comedians, and you know what I mean, like just have fun. The best parts of stand-up comedy, just go out to perform for different people and do different things. But then the pandemic rolled through, and it just constantly got delayed, and I kept thinking like, this thing's going to end soon. I'll be able to get on the road again. And then I realized no. It's funny too to listen to it because it's like, I've been performing for, I don't know, 12 years or something, like 12, 13 years. And so there's some of this stuff, the jokes on the album have like sort of the, seeds were planted in some of my earliest, you know what I mean? Like the evolution of bits, like 10 years in, you might have a joke that like, it was something like that, but it grew into something good. But I was listening to it, and there's just something like, even the idea of like I'm referencing going to a restaurant, you know what I mean? It just, that doesn't happen anymore, like just
it's like, geez, how old is this material? Write something new. Restaurants.
Yeah. So I shook someone's hand the other day, and they're like, man, when was this recorded? 1890? Jeez Louise. So I was hugging my mom, and you're like, oh, this guy's an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah, what a hack. What a hack.
Anti-vaxxer, yeah.
That's funny. That I like your attitude about the pandemic. It's just it was rolled through. I like that. That's how I'm gonna look at it from now on. It's just kind of rolled.
You cut out. What's my attitude?
Yeah, the pandemic. It just rolled through. I like that. It's very. You know, just driving by, just popping in for a quick pop in the pandemic.
But there's a part of it that like. It makes me think that it's rolling. It's gonna roll through. Like when you go and you're at you ever driving somewhere and you're almost at your destination and you kind of have to pee, and then you sort of realize like once you have that thought, you're like, oh yeah, I do, so I need to get there. But then there's like a train crossing. And I'm not talking about like a via. You know when a via goes by, there's 6 cars. Yeah. There's like 6 passenger cars. But it's like in those situations where it's almost comically long, like those freight trains where it's like, is this a joke? Am I in, you know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of like in a way how like I'm feeling a bit about the second lockdown, where it's like, it's for a second, it's been going like this whole thing's been going on for so long that it's kind of funny a little bit, but now it's getting to the point where it's like, I'm thinking of driving my car underneath this train. Like this is getting,
or just getting crushed by it. You're right. Just
let's
go down like in a blaze of glory. What, Your album, since you recorded it last year and released it this year, was there a benefit to that, like staying away? Because sometimes you can be so close to something and so inundated with it that you're like, this isn't any good, but you set it aside for a bit and you go back to it. You're like, oh, look at me, I'm doing comedy like a real person.
Well, it's funny. So I am someone who, for the most part, never really records any of my sets, never really pays any attention to stuff. Like, I'm not a very responsible comedian. And even once it was recorded and the sound engineer had sent me the masters to say, like, okay, you need to tell me what you want, like tracks and stuff, like go through and decide where you want everything cut up. And you could put a gun to my head, and I would have said, I don't know, I don't want to do this. And it was my wife who we were driving to Kingston to visit my mother-in-law, and she like forced us to listen to my album while we were in the car.
Oh, where's that via when you need it?
What's that?
Where's that via train when you need it? We're gonna listen. We're gonna listen to the album. Oh God.
Oh God. But and I guess maybe it's that combination of the fact that I don't necessarily listen to my stand-up that much, and then being so far removed from it. Like I haven't, I think I might have performed 10 times last year, if that. And I mean, it's really nice. It turns out that I really enjoy my sense of humor. This guy, Matt Carter, really knows how to tickle my funny bone.
Well, you know what's like, you are very, very good. And because you live in Ottawa, and it's not like you're on the road all the time and touring. I mean, you do the club runs, the absolutes, but you're still one of the funniest guys out there, which makes like a small part of me hates you for it, and then the rest of me is happy to be your friend. But
I felt that compliment was going to get weird. I felt it.
But he's one of those guys.
Had to. There is that natural comedian sort of the sort of guy comedian twist whenever something gets too complimentary. You're like, okay, now I gotta call his mom a bitch or something like that.
Yeah, this can't be 100% genuine.
No, but it's like you'll headline the clubs, and then you kind of lay low for a bit. Then a big comic will come through town, and you're the opener. Like you've got a sweet spot for your career.
Means. I know what he means.
What I'm trying to say actually is, and maybe you can guess or confirm what I was going to say after, but you've really carved out a nice kind of corner for yourself where you get really good gigs, and you don't have to be on the road all the time, and you're still churning out good new material all the time. I mean, this sounds like a backhanded compliment, but it's not. It's a real compliment.
No, totally. And that's and I mean, and if I can give any advice to a young comedian out there, what you need to do is you need to get yourself a hardworking attic wife. You know what I mean? Like someone who's up there 8 hours a day doing the work. But there is an element to the I realize that I'm a happier and better comedian whenever I'm not stressing about comedy,
Right.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes it's like you think about, and the stress of a lot, I think of the art form or any kind of performance and stuff like that is on the money side of it in a lot of ways. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And so having a little bit of freedom, it allows you to sort of focus on the fun parts and just turn off that stress part of the brain. And it's great. I love Ottawa as a comedy scene. I think that we consistently churn out a lot of really good talent here. And it's so fun, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, people say like you have to be. But Jen, did you want to add? I cut you off totally.
No, go ahead.
People often say, and this is like a misconception. People say, oh, you have to be really fucked up to be a comic or miserable or depressed. I disagree with that. I mean, I find I do my best work when I'm happy in life, when everything's going well. There was an article. I don't know if you remember. We were both living in Toronto at the time, and the Toronto Star that came out and said that all comedians were psychopaths or something like that. Literally, like in a national newspaper, it said like. And Peter Anthony had a great joke. He did it at Say What. He's like, an article just came out and said, all comedians are psychopaths. He goes, I resent that. I want to find that writer and cut his fucking head off.
It's also amazing where you're like, you think about a publication like that when it's like trying to identify the ills of the world, and you're like, it's that the root that we need to get to the bottom of is these psychopath comedians, rather than who's a real psychopath? How about like investment bankers or like global CEO type figures? You know what I mean? No one has a problem with like thinking like maybe Jeff Bezos is a psychopath for accumulating $200 billion while paying people who work for him $7 an hour. You're like, who it is? It's that fucking guy telling jokes for a beer and a plate of wings at a fucking open mic on Queen Street.
Yeah.
There's your
like
psychopath.
that guy might have some other problems with his life skills, but not psychopath. Maybe.
Yeah. Not news media worthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like.
And granted, there are some pretty messed up people in comedy that are endlessly funny. I mean,
oh my God,
and like super fun. But it's not the rule. It's not like, because you are one of the most well balanced, kind of healthy humans.
I remember one of my favorite moments when I was living in Toronto. I befriended this guy Jordan Foisey, who is one of my favorite comedians in the whole country, like world. One of my favorite comics. And we were drinking one night at a bar, and we were with someone, I can't remember who it was, but then they had left the table. And he kind of like leaned over and he asked me, he was like, he goes, who hurt you? And I was like, what? And he goes, it's okay, you can tell me. Who hurt you that, now you do this? It's like, like you're a good comedian. There must be, you seem normal. What is it? What are you hiding? You can tell me. You know what I mean? And then what was it? Was it a priest? Was it a teacher? Was it a soccer coach? Was it a bad neighborhood dog? Come on. But it's true. There are some, obviously, who have, but my parents were great. I grew up happy.
To hang out, like on a personal level, I tend to gravitate to, like, the more normal you are, basically, I will hang out with you, like, as far as comics go. And basically, when you ask somebody how it's going and they don't give you their bio, I'm good. Like, we're good to hang out.
So true.
When you go, hey man, how's it going? Good. I'm showcasing for JFL. First of all, it's a showcase. I don't care, and I don't care about any of it. Just like your life. So when I ask a comic, hey, how's it going, and it's a real life answer, like good. My kid puked in my shoes this morning. Great. We're gonna have a good time. But it's this incessant need for approval and can't turn it off. That I can't be around these people too much. I can in small doses, but when it's like constantly a pissing match, I don't know. I can't.
Julien used that example of puked in my shoe because the dog last night puked at the in the mudroom inches away from his shoes. So I think he's still getting over that. And guess who picked up the puke? But anyway, that's
I can't.
Other...
I mean, if I do that, then I'll puke. So you did us all a service.
What you think? I don't want to puke? I hold it in like an adult. Jeez.
Domestic with Matt on the phone.
Yeah.
Hey, that's okay, guys. Let's use I statements. You know,
I feel this way when you do that. Yeah. Oh no, wait, I messed up.
By the way, you mentioned therapy, and you said I see a therapist, and kind of made a joke like. You don't need to know why. I think everybody should see a therapist. There's such a taboo about that. Todd Glass had a good analogy. He's like, if your car breaks down, never would you attempt to fix it yourself. You're like, no. But the human mind, you're like, no, I got this.
That's a great point. Actually.
It's great.
That's actually the two things that I've taken away from 2020 that have changed my life for the better. And this is a Julien Dionne Comedy Hour podcast exclusive.
Yes.
Whoa.
Heard it here
two
first.
Things that have changed my life. Because you have to think, 2020 for a lot of people has been, the hardest year of a lot of people's lives. We had a kid in January, and pandemic, all that stuff. Two things. One, therapy. Two, Metamucil. Those are the two guys.
Oh yeah, you need you're big on the Metamuse?
Big on the fiber. Oh man, especially as we get older, guys. You know what I mean? Don't wait. This is the thing. Just make it part of your daily thing.
Get ahead of it.
Glass of Metamucil, and then every 6 weeks have a nice conversation with someone who isn't waiting for their turn to talk about them. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it's true.
It's so great.
Most people or comics, it's like you're talking to someone on coke. They're just waiting for you to finish so you could. But so that's your frequency. You go once every 6 weeks. That's pretty good. I mean, low frequency.
When I first started, and he had made a good point, my therapist, his name's Paul, he was like, I like to go weekly for the first little stretch, once for, let's say, a month or 6 weeks. So that way we can kind of get to know each other and then determine, if this is a good fit, blah, blah, blah. And then after that, we can start spacing it out or even figuring out if we need to even continue. And because it is kind of true in a sense, you meet somebody at a party and then you see them again 6 weeks later, you're kind of trying to figure out, I remember you, we had a good time, you're trying to pick up the way where you left off. But the weekly thing, it's great. And because I used to have this thing where I would have some I'd have problems or whatever, not being a good communicator with my wife or whatever. And then, I'd feel shitty or something bad would happen. And then just the idea of my wife and I making a plan for me to be like, hey, I've decided that I want to get a therapist or whatever. Just saying that out loud would make me feel better. And then I'm like, I feel better. I don't even need one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then cut to, 3 weeks later, repeat. And so, because I'm a bit of a procrastinator, and but then when I finally, and that's it was so funny, I was sitting across on the Zoom call with this therapist guy. He's like, well, we'll take a couple weeks and then we'll determine whether or not if this is a good fit. And if not, you don't think it is, I can recommend some other people. And I was like, if you fucking think that I'm going to try and find another therapist after I found one, you're out of your goddamn mind.
But I like that. I like that. I agree with you, and I like that he said that, because that makes me feel like he's probably good, because he's not desperate for clients.
Right.
He doesn't mind actually giving you the option.
He's not that open micer who's asked to book a show and they're like, I can headline. I'll
that's
do
right.
Don't worry about this. I got this.
They exist also in that world.
Yeah. Oh my God! Imagine an open mic therapist, like that equivalent of it. But you touched on something that is the source of a lot of my issues. Is the idea of scheduling something. I get the same feeling scheduling it as actually doing it. So many times I'll be like, oh, just throw that on the list. I'll write it down. I'm like, well, that's just as good as doing it. And then I don't do it. But that's a lot of my things. I have lists. I have systems in place. I'm really good at the systems and buying new notebooks and doing things and buying new day planners. And then the execution is just everything falls apart.
Yeah. I think a
What
lot
do you
of
mean,
us
yeah?
can
That was
relate.
fast to say.
I know,
You
that
jumped
was.
on that really fast. Yep, that's you. Anyway.
Again, guys, it's, I feel
yes.
that I like.
I feel that you should get the name of Matt's therapist, and I feel that you would really benefit.
There
and
she is.
I
Jen
think
Grant, everybody.
that I would really benefit. Okay.
I
My
would
big
benefit
question
from
was
you
to-
in therapy. Sorry, go ahead.
My big question was to decide whether I should send my therapist my album. You know what I mean? Just be like,
Analyze this.
Just figure this out.
Did you find that? And I've heard other people say this. I think I've heard Howard Stern say this, and other people in show business. When they go to therapy, at first you feel like you're performing, like you just want them to see the good bits. So you're like, you're not really doing your act or whatever, but you're trying to be witty and funny and like nervous laugh and because I've done that for sure before.
The one thing that I've always felt like I'm a better analogizer than I am comedian. You know what I mean? I pride myself on making some good analogies. I don't know if you guys have noticed that I'm pretty good at them.
I noticed like a guy building an igloo would notice looking into the sun sky. See, I'm bad at analogies, so go ahead.
So sometimes the feeling that I get when I'm in therapy is that I feel like I'm the best therapist in the room. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Because we'll be talking about something, and then he'll say, it's kind of like this, and then I'll be like, you know what, but in a way it's, and then I'll give my own analogy. It's like that's very astute, and I'm like, yeah, it is. You should pay me, Paul. This bullshit.
You're tagging his analogies.
That's right, and and he's like, and I know that he's taking notes sometimes for our future sessions, but I feel like he's also taking notes to be like, I'm going to use that on my next appointment. That's a good analogy.
Has he by any chance diagnosed you as a little bit narcissistic, or you're like, I know he's using this technique with others? I mean, I've enlightened him. He's done 14 years of medical school, but I just, Matt, we love you, and we love having you on the show.
do.
And oh man, actually, we should mention this before. Matt and his wife Emily did the nicest thing when we got engaged.
Yep.
Full blown pandemic, and it was lockdown, red zone, everything. And Matt is an excellent cook, and his wife as well. And they delivered to us a meal. This is crazy, and I mean, again, still, it's been what, 4 weeks since then, maybe?
Yeah, probably something like that.
Yeah,
Something
and
like
then the second best thing that's happened to us is a congratulations post on Facebook. So your guys are far, far ahead in the lead, but they delivered a meal, not like a purchased hot meal or something, a meal made from scratch, and not like a meal like that's easy, like a casserole or a shepherd's pie. We had delivered the perfectly cooked medium rare lamb with these potato. What were the potatoes? It was like kind of like
they
a
were
scallop.
like a scalloped. What were they called, Matt?
It was a potato and celery root gratin.
So good.
Which is, if people aren't eating celery root, you gotta add it to your.
Get in there. But we had this
Get in
literally this fine dining 3-course meal with a lemon pie dessert, made everything from scratch, delivered in these containers that kept everything hot. It was perfectly cooked, and we had a great dinner, and then we had dessert with Matt and his wife over Zoom.
Excuse me, Matt, I don't know if you made the pie or if Emily did, but there was like a homemade lemon pie.
Oh yeah, I just said that. You were.
That's right.
No, I didn't hear that part.
Oh yeah, I did.
You said it? Sorry.
That's all right.
She's on her phone.
No. It was 2 seconds. Sorry.
I was like, we had dessert, a great lemon pie, and she's like, excuse me. Oh, and also on top of everything, on best lemon
I
pie.
didn't hear you say the lemon part. Sorry, go.
No, it's all right.
Go.
Just teasing. But anyway, that was one of the nicest thing anybody's done for us. Not even just regarding the engagement, but just ever. It was very nice.
Oh, yeah,
and we
we were
shared
very
a shared a beverage outside, social distance in the carport, and it was such a great thing. So just to show you how well balanced and great Matt Carter and his wife Emily are. That's the kind of people you're dealing with. The opposite of psychopaths. Actually, it's kind of psychopathic to drop off a fine dining meal.
That's right. I just want to know your address.
Yeah.
But it's no. I mean, obviously, Em and I were so thrilled whenever you guys got engaged, and it sort of makes us think about when Em and I got engaged, and there's an element of like whenever you get together like that, it's like as much as it's about you, there's also like a community aspect, and I think of all these different moments and stuff that people have had this year that maybe weren't exactly as they would have scripted for themselves. So it's like that was my goal for like my pat leave, is to figure out, it's like, how can I keep like the important parts of community and society going even in this like weird shitty time.
Well, I love it. I love it.
Mission accomplished.
That's for sure.
One of the best humans. We love you, Matt, and go check out his album Northbound Baby, available everywhere you get your music, on Spotify, Apple Music, all that. Go buy it on iTunes, on the iTunes store, and
our seventh caller will get a free No? Okay.
Yeah, we could do that. Anything you want to add, Matt? Anything you want to plug?
No, nothing. I mean, just your nuptials. I mean, stay tuned, everybody. They're going to do it live on Zoom, broadcast it everywhere you watch weddings. I'm thrilled that you guys. It's been too long. I'm so happy that we got to do this.
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot. We'll have you on anytime you want, and we'll stay in touch, buddy. We'll talk soon.
Okay, perfect.
There he goes.
Bye, guys.
See you, Matt. There he goes, Matt Carter, everybody. I'm so glad the internet held up. At some points, it got a little bit choppy, but not enough to not understand what was said ever. That sounded good, right? For the most part.
Yeah.
I know that on his end we probably were choppy at times, but anyway, there it is. There he is, Matt Carter.
Yep.
Go check out his very, very funny album, Northbound Baby.
Pass me that little sound machine. Okay, there he goes.
There you go. Oh yeah, right. There he goes, Matt Carter, top left.
Matt Carter.
Matt Carter. There he is.
Oh, whoops.
No, top left. Oh no, that's upside down. A burp.
Matt Carter, everyone.
It's way easier than it looks, eh? Or harder than it looks.
No. Oh, that was long. Is that?
Yeah. No, that's. I know. Yeah, great. Great stuff, buddy. Well, let's do this, Jenny. We're not done, by the way. The show's not done.
It's a longie.
We're still going strong. It's I put blankets on the curtains behind, so it looks really dark in here, but I kind of like it. We can see our faces still.
You're into it?
Yeah, as long as I can see your face, Jenny, the show is worth every penny. What?
Don't say the dog's name.
I know.
Daily dose, get the news from coast to coast. Daily dose, all your news from coast to coast.
All the news and headlines from Jen Grant.
And here's your daily dose for Monday, January 24th. Thank you very much.
Well, it feels longer.
Long, yeah.
What happened to it?
What's going on?
Did the batteries PM send us soup up the machine?
What's going on, PM? So the patient that first came into the hospital ER, with what seemed to be mild pneumonia, he was patient 0 basically. That was a year ago. About a year ago. About a year ago.
A patient that is about a while year.
I know.
Let it out.
Okay, don't okay.
I know. Sometimes I listen to the show again and I am ugly.
And you're a big dink.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes.
No, I don't mean to do. This is how we talk in real life. I'm very immature sometimes.
So this patient came into the hospital ER, and they thought he had mild pneumonia, but that was like 1 year ago.
In Wuhan?
No, actually, that was the first one in Canada.
Oh.
That they're acknowledging, that they think.
But you had it before then.
That's what I was thinking. But the man had just returned from China, where a new viral disease was spreading like a brush fire. Excuse me. His chest x-rays were also very unusual. So that's when they started looking at it. But I just thought I'd bring that up because that was a year ago. Pretty much January 23rd. So pretty close. And it was at Toronto Sunnybrook Health Sciences Center. And he was 56 years old. He ended up giving it to his wife, so his wife got it too. And since then, they have recovered. But he is now known as Patient Zero. So just to put that in perspective, it's been a year since that happened. So I'm really hoping that this means in 5 months' time that maybe things will really be much better.
On the up and up, as they say.
Yeah, because I think when they first started, they didn't know exactly what was going to happen. But I think the overall idea, once we got into this whole thing, it was going to take about a year and a half, possibly 2 years to really feel like we're completely feeling like we're out of the woods.
Yeah.
But a year and a half, I think, was
one of the popular guesstimates.
Yeah, I think so. So they're both recovered, and even though their battle is over, a lot of people don't just magically get better. So even if many people, I would say, seems to me the most people do recover and everything is fine, we still need to be careful because everybody is different. And the other thing to be careful of, this is another story. Did you want to say something before I continue?
Well, you said you got to be careful. I read that it actually, once it leaves the brain or the lungs, it can stay in the brain for a long time. I know. So you can have the virus in your brain. I know. That's the thing. Even though people are like, oh, most people will get it and you're fine, you'll recover. I don't want to get this.
Exactly.
I don't want this in my brain.
That's why I want a vaccine. I want to get the vaccine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is another thing to be very aware of. A lot of people know that there's not great treatment in long-term care homes, like retirement homes and old age. I don't know what's the proper word for senior nursing homes. So you have to watch for that. If you have a family member that is in one of I'm sure most of them are great, but this one daughter of a 97-year-old woman in Montreal she was very happy when her mother got the Moderna vaccination, but she was shocked and confused when she got a Pfizer one as well. They messed up and gave this woman 2 vaccines. One was the Moderna one and then another Pfizer one.
And what happened?
Well, they don't know yet. It just happened. So they don't know what's going to happen long term with her, but they messed up. Like, how do you mess up on that? A lot of people are really anxious to get a vaccine, and you accidentally give the same person 2 different vaccines.
There's so much confusion with this fact. Like, just get it out.
I know.
And keep it together.
It's ridiculous.
Is that too much to ask? It was not worth it.
No, it was weird. So here's an unrelated story that I thought was quite fascinating. Dutch police have arrested the alleged leader of a large Asian drug syndicate who is listed as one of the world's most wanted fugitives and has been compared to the Mexican drug lord El Chapo.
Whoa.
I know. There's so much stuff going on in the world we have no idea about.
El Chino.
No. You really thought about whether that was appropriate or not.
Yeah, but you know why I say that?
Give me the machine.
You know why I say it?
Give me the machine. That is so inappropriate.
Why? Well, you know what? It's the Spanish. My friends. It's like saying the Chinese, but in Spanish. Yeah.
That bombed big time. I thought you were actually saying something else that I'm not going to say. So
probably worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there. That's good. It's not as bad as you thought.
Yeah, but I didn't say it.
Can we move on?
It's in my brain. Okay. All right. So his name is. I'm not going to say his name right. I'll tell you that right now. Si Chi Lop. He is a Chinese-born Canadian national. He was detained on Friday at the request of Australian police, who led an investigation that found his organization dominates the, get this, the 70 billion a year Asia Pacific drug trade. No.
70
That's
billion.
more of a Scream thing. Yeah.
I was just thinking of the money.
Is there one that just goes, oh?
Or no, say that again.
What?
70
billion a year Asia Pacific drug trade. Dutch police, let's see here.
Ooh, that was a long
C is expected to be extradited after appearing before a judge, adding that his arrest by national police took place without incident at Amsterdam's airport. So he was already on the most wanted list, and he was detained based on intelligence that they received. Imagine somebody squealing on that guy. Wouldn't you be terrified? Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes. That guy's, oh my gosh. Imagine his life. I would be terrified. I'd be like a fly on the wall, but I'd be like shaking. The fly would be like, I'd be terrified.
So if you could be a fly on the wall anywhere, yours would be.
It wouldn't be
in this room of this informant.
It wouldn't be anywhere, but I would be interested if I could be a fly on the wall to see what was happening in this guy's life. He's 57. He's an ex-convict who.
Oh, I thought you meant the informant. Sorry.
No. The
Right.
guy's life. Like, think of Sopranos when we watch Sopranos and that whole world. Obviously, that's a fictional show, but like. A lot of it is, I'm sure I know that some of the stuff that happened in the show has happened somewhat similar in real life. So this guy is 57, like I said, an ex-convict. He's lived in Toronto. Imagine you're just in Toronto and this guy is like living there.
Maybe I served him when I was a server there.
Maybe. He has moved between Hong Kong and Taiwan in recent years. And he has been connected with or directly involved in at least 13 cases of drug trafficking since 2015. Anyway, they say that his drug syndicate earned as much as $17 billion in 2018, and now they've got him. So there you go. What a world we live in.
What a way to whirl the wind.
And in sad news, this
like just shut your mouth.
This past weekend, unfortunately, rest in peace, Larry King.
Yeah,
passed. Yeah,
from COVID.
Yeah, and they're still saying it's they're not determining that's the cause of death.
Well, he was in the hospital with COVID, and he's 89 years old. I mean,
yeah.
Doesn't take a genius.
He had a lot of health issues leading up to this too. He was 87, and I guess that
he was great.
Yeah, there's a lot of clips that are circulating now in tribute to his life. One clip in particular has been getting a lot of attention. A 2007 interview with Jerry Seinfeld. Did you know about this?
Yeah, and Seinfeld got kind of short with him.
I didn't actually see the video. What did it look like?
He said, I mean, I haven't seen it in probably years, but...
oh, you remember this, though?
Yeah, Larry King goes that your show was canceled after 9 years, and Jerry's like, no, I left. Did you not do research? Something like that. Because it wasn't canceled. He's like, we were the #1 show, so Jerry was kind of offended. He's like, don't you do any research? Well, yeah, and that is kind of a
I
flub.
would be upset, too.
And so he's like looking around. He's like, did you guys not give him notes or whatever? Kind of being funny, but
it did bother him.
Yeah,
it would bother me.
But not Jerry Seinfeld's got this like undertone of anger, which he's like,
yeah,
and that was basically it. Yeah, I remember. I would play the clip if we had better internet, but
yeah. Well, he said that he was promoting that B movie. That's what he was doing in 2007.
Yeah,
and he said that. He seemed bewildered by, Jerry Seinfeld seemed bewildered by Larry King's suggestion that his sitcom Seinfeld might have been canceled. And exactly like you said. And he said, as Seinfeld noted during the viral interview, he opted to end the popular NBC show on a high note. You gave it up, right? King asked. You canceled them. They didn't cancel you. You're not aware of this? Seinfeld responded, as King stood his ground.
That's
you think I got canceled? Are you under the impression I got canceled? I thought it was pretty well documented. Is this still CNN?
Yeah.
Seinfeld went on to playfully persist. I went off the air. I was the number one show on television, Larry. Do you know who I am? And Larry said back to him, Jewish guy, Brooklyn. As his rant at King again made the rounds in the hours following his death, Seinfeld took to social media to pay tribute and set the record straight. So...
what did he say?
He said it was all in good fun. The canceled bit was just me having fun with this little mistake. Nothing more or less. He added that he will miss the veteran broadcaster.
He was such a good sport, Larry King. He was often on Conan.
Mm-hmm.
He was, he was great. Or just always poking fun at himself.
Yeah.
You know, never afraid to be the butt of the joke.
Yeah, well, I
think... And he worked until he was in his 80s.
I actually thought he was older because he looked old for a long time. He was one of those guys.
Yep. What was he, 89?
Yeah, he was 87.
87, yeah.
Yeah, he seems older than that.
Because that's been the joke forever, Larry King, you know, and how old he was and how many marriages. He was married 5 times, I think.
Yeah. Was that 5? I don't know.
Whoops.
He had a young wife. Like, when he was in his 60s, he had 2 young kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's your Daily Dose for today.
Oh, caught me off guard.
I know.
Here.
I'm so sorry. Daily Dose.
Daily Dose, Daily Dose. Get the news from coast to coast. Daily Dose, Daily Dose. All your news from coast to
All
coast.
the news and the headlines.
I'm just punching in
from
the air.
Jen Grant.
This is me the whole time. I got to think of some new moves.
I used to, because I was sitting forever doing the podcast and could dance sitting. And then since December, because we were using the studio for corporates, went to standing up. That's easier to dance standing up. But then same, lying down. That's how we should do the podcast, like John and Yoko, bed piece.
We should do one of them like that.
In bed?
Yeah, why not?
All right, I agree. Hold on. I'm just... So sorry.
That's okay.
I know. I don't know what my issue is. Oh, whoops.
I would love to take a little break.
Well, I'm going to do a quick ad.
Yes.
You don't have to come back.
No?
No, I'm just do the ad and
Okay.
then go for the close. And as a tribute to our good friend Matt, that sounds like he's passed.
Yeah, that was
he
weird.
was just on the show. Not a tribute. It's just we're going to plug his album again. We're going to play a full bit because we just gave you a little snippet there off the top. And we'll play a full bit
I love that idea.
of his album.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.
That was your idea.
Yeah, I know.
It's a
But I
great
love
idea.
that you're doing another
Oh.
one. That's your idea.
Northbound Baby. But first, let me do this.
I feel very good about your idea. Okay. Bye, everyone. See
Bye,
you tomorrow.
Jenny. Love you. We'll see you tomorrow. There she goes, Jen Grant. The bladder of a toddler. Ooh, careful. And but while I have you here, ladies and gentlemen, let me just remind you that this episode of the Julien Dionne Show with Jen Grant is brought to you once again by Gringos Blazing Sauces. Do yourself a favor and go to gringosblazingsauces.com for a wide selection of the best small batch salsas, hot sauces, charcuterie jellies, grilling and barbecue sauces you will taste. Trust me, I'm a pepperhead, I know. Gringos Blazing Sauces, chef-owned and operated, so they use nothing but the best hand-selected, freshest ingredients to bring you, like I said, small batch hot. If you love hot sauce or salsa, just go to gringosblazingsauces.com. They're based out of Ottawa, and they ship all over North America, but if you order over $40 and live in Canada, you get free shipping on that bad boy. On top of that, listeners of this program get an additional 5% off by entering promo code JD5 at checkout. JD5 gets you 5% off. $40 or more gets you free shipping if you live in Canada, and they ship all over North America. gringosblazingsauces.com. Do it today. Yeah. All right? Do that. Okay, so like I said, thanks to... and by the way, yes, Mike Plume Month does continue, but until we get to the bottom of the copyright permissions that we have to get, we've paused it, but it does continue. No less love for... no love lost for Mike Plume, that's for sure. Just rest assured it'll be back. Go to MikePlume.com for all of your Mike Plume needs. Okay? That'd be great. So we'll leave you on this. A track from Matt Carter, Northbound Baby, available everywhere you stream your music. Go on iTunes Store. The iTunes... Why am I saying that with the wrong emphasis? iTunes Store. iTunes Store. And buy it. Or Amazon.com and buy it. And then stream it. Support comics... comedian. I was going to say comedians and comics. So I said comics. And especially the good ones. Like our friend... Matt Cart. Okay, I'm stalling while I'm trying to cue this up here. Okay, here is from his album Northbound Baby. Here is a bit called Grandma. Here it is. See you tomorrow, everybody. And until then, watch your head. Watch your head.
Here's the thing. 2019, we are so good at medicine and science stuff now. We are so good at it that even when people today who are kind of supposed to die people are still like, what? Oh no! This is a true story. My great-grandmother died last year. All right. My great-grandmother died, okay, last year at the ripe old age of 102 years old. 102. Nah, you don't need to do that. It would have been super impressive if she was like a Jason Bourne type lady, you know what I mean? Where every like 4 or 5 years, a bunch of guys tried to murder her, and she had to fight them off with a piece of garden hose and a pen or whatever, you know? Just really earn it, Grandma. Really earn it. In reality, she just didn't know how to stop being alive. That's kind of what happened. So anyway, my grandma died. So I went to her funeral. Because I had some plans fall through, and I was like, fuck it, I'll make an appearance. I don't know if anybody here has had relatives make it to the 100-year mark, but usually in those situations, there's not a lot of meat left on the old inheritance bone. You know what I'm saying? Just the frivolous spending in those last 20 years on all that care they need, you know? So anyway, I go to the funeral. She's a Catholic lady. She was a Catholic lady, right? And there was a priest there, and he gave a eulogy. Now, if you don't know what a eulogy is, it's like a TED Talk about a dead lady. That's what that is. Now, this is a true story. This is true. I would not make this up. This is true. The priest guy, right? His face, he was looking at us, and he said this, right? He said, "Now I know some of you are sitting here thinking to yourselves, why? Why, God? Why couldn't she have just a few more years?" I had to stand up and be like, who the fuck is thinking that? Anybody? Was there a marathon she was training for that I was unaware of? Like, she really wanted to see how that Marvel's Infinity War thing was gonna end? Have you ever seen a 100-year-old person? They just keep getting like smaller and smaller, and you know what that is? That's the Earth saying, you should be inside of me. What are you still doing up there? Get in here, I got some cauliflower to fertilize and stuff. So when my sister
side.